2NURFM News for our sponsor Guardian Jewellery, Toronto Town Square and the Esplanade, Warners Bay.
It's 2 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Annabelle Regan with 2NURFM Hunter News. Hunter New England Health has responded to concerns of almost $50 million in negligence claims being paid out over the last 3 years. In a statement, it says they review every serious incident and implement changes to ensure preventable errors are avoided to continue to provide the best possible care. Typical medical negligence claims relate to incorrect diagnosis, incorrect treatment, and procedural and surgical errors. Mining leases in the Hunter Valley could double in area size if 4 new mines are approved for the area. An additional 4 mine expansions have also been proposed, which would affect the thoroughbred breeding region west of Muswellbrook and the Broke Forditch wine region. New South Wales Coordinator for the Lock the Gate Alliance, Georgina Woods, says strategic planning is needed to protect industry in the area.
Planning Minister needs to intervene to set aside the critical industry clusters for the thoroughbred industry and the wine tourism industry as off-limits to mining and put some basic strategic planning controls in place to restore balance in the planning process before the current crop of mines are approved.
Bremen Terrace residents are speaking out against the rezoning of public land in Boomerang Park. Port Stephens Council has drawn up a master plan to repurpose 4 hectares of the 21-hectare park with housing development, shelters and walking tracks on the agenda. Residents have written to State Planning Minister Rob Stokes to keep the park in public hands. Over 1,000 volunteers hit the streets this weekend to raise money for the Salvation Army's annual Red Shield Door Knock Appeal. $180,000 has been raised so far in the Hunter with a goal of $317,000. $4.9 million has been raised across Australia so far. Amber Dale from the Salvation Army says all donations in the area will go towards helping those in need in the Hunter.
Our goal this year in the Hunter is $317,000 and we've just had the weekend and so far with really preliminary results we've already raised $180 and it's really important to note that donations made in the Hunter stay in the Hunter. They help us run local services for local people.
Sightseers at the Barrington Tops National Park are being warned to take extra precaution as 6 trails close for winter. 3 camping areas have also been affected by the closures, which will remain in place for 4 months. 4-wheel drive enthusiasts are also being asked to abide by the closures. Lawrence Orrell from the National Parks and Wildlife Service says the closures are a precaution to protect them for future use.
The reason these are closed over winter is that they are in the high altitude where the weather over winter makes them difficult to maintain. So it is essential that these trails are available for emergency services, particularly such as fire during the summer season and also search and rescues as required.
In finance, the All Ords is down 63.1 points at 57.11 and $1 Australian dollar is buying 76.53 US cents.
Sport for our sponsor NewcastleCheapestCars.com.au.
The Newcastle Knights are facing a potential playmaking crisis ahead of their must-win clash with the Raiders next Saturday. With skipper Kurt Gidley and Jared Mullen already sidelined, along with forwards Cade Snowden, Jeremy Smith and Robbie Rocco, the Knights lost halfback Tyrone Roberts to a suspected sprained ankle just minutes into yesterday's loss to the Warriors. Coach Rick Stone says it's not clear if Roberts will recover in time for Saturday's game.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Look, if you have a real mild one, you could possibly play the next week. So it all depends on, how it swells up and what the scans show us will give us some idea of what's next for Tyrone.
Newcastle-born golfer Stephen Bowditch has become the 3rd Aussie in 7 years to win the PGA Tour's Byron Nelson Championship in Texas. Bowditch fired a final round 5 under par 64 to win by 4 shots. And in basketball, the Newcastle Hunters men's and women's teams both scored wins over Penrith at the weekend. The women climbed to 4th on the ladder with a 73-61 victory for a spot in the playoffs, while the men kept their slim finals chances alive with a 73-69 win. That's sport. I'm Jacinta Lee.
2NURFM News Time is 2:04.